Hi, my name is Eric Lockett. I am 18 years old. I am from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I have a brother, a sister, a mom, and a dad. Specific reasons I chose to go to college were with the job I want in the future and my career, they need a very specific degree, at least a bachelor's for entry work. These bachelors include, but are not limited to, Homeland Security, Forensic Sciences, Criminal Justice. Uh, you don't necessarily need those exact bachelors, but I'm going for Homeland Security uh, just because it's the one based the most in the 21st century, even though every school has a different variation on that program. It usually involves basic programming. You get a lot of private certifications with it, like different softwares and you know all that good stuff. Uh, so let's talk about my personal life. I had to overcome two main disabilities, one being a peanut allergy, which I actually overcame at around 12, but the main one is type 1 diabetes. And I got diagnosed with that on my 13th birthday, which is very easy to remember because it's on my birthday. I went to the hospital and I was 100 pounds underweight, and my liver and kidneys were shutting down, and I was dying. I was probably gonna die. I didn't, but at the time I thought I was. So I've never had to deal with anything like this before, well, prior to that, because this was a new level of proactiveness that I had to tackle with the disease. So what I learned about myself was that I wasn't very good at time management because I was becoming a teenager, and no teenager is good at time management, but I had to be for like my own personal health. So I basically at 13 and 14 had to learn how to be a responsible adult, which kind of sucked because no 14-year-old wants to go to bed at 10 o'clock because it's best for his blood sugars. But the strengths I realized I had were determination and will, and I was actively seeking to improve myself constantly, and I kind of would challenge myself to become a better diabetic as a result from these weaknesses. And there are always some times that you feel discouraged, because the thing about type 1 diabetes, it's a nagging disease, so you can never really escape it. So for a lot of people, when they overcome adversity, they can look back at the beginning and they felt discouraged then. But it's easy for me to feel discouraged every day because I can look at my blood sugar and go, I was 200 for an hour and I feel like crap. So it's easy to get stuck in that woe is me mindset. So to help me not feel discouraged, I have to constantly look at the positive side of things. And my friends and family, because when you're a teenager, you're irresponsible. Even though I was a responsible teenager, for all intents and purposes, I was still a teenager. So there would still be nights that I went out and had fun until 2 in the morning, and then would pass out on my bed and then go to sleep. And you can't just go to sleep as a diabetic because you might die in your sleep if you do that. So my dad would come in and he'd monitor my sugar for me, or my brother would, or if my best friend was awake, he would, because they all knew how to help me handle my disease. And I couldn't have gotten through my teenage years without all of that. It's good to have that support network from your family and friends. And it took me from the time I was diagnosed to about 14 and a half to really get my life on track, just because it was it's a hard transition period to go from, oh, I can do whatever I want to I can't do anything. Even though I can now, it's still it can still be difficult, right? So I learned a lot about who I am as a person, because when you run into a lot of type 1 diabetics as a type 1 diabetics, you can kind of make out who they are pretty easily. Because when someone deals with this disease, if they actually care about it and try to better themselves, they either have a very negative mindset or a very positive mindset. The people who are negative are always like, my blood sugar sucks, and I suck because my blood sugar sucks, and I hate myself. And people who are like me, they have the positive mindset of always looking to better themselves and their overall health and making sure that they're the best person they can be. And it's easy to get yourself stuck in a rut and be down on yourself, never want to do anything. And it's harder to be proactive and go out and tackle your problems head first. But if you do that, it's more rewarding for you in the long run. And how has it changed the way I face my problems is, I mean, granted I was like 12, so what problems did I really have aside from being poor? But I don't really see anything as impossible, which I know is the most cliche, like, I don't see anything as impossible, but like, it is a lot harder for me to shy away from a challenge than it is to tackle one. I don't see anything that I can't really do everything takes a lot of hard work and dedication, and it takes a lot of time, but I just learned piano the other day. I didn't know how to play piano before, so I would have never done that if it wasn't for my disability. Bye, I love you.